areas which I have mentioned here, like the security supply chain, where it comes from securing the software pipeline. So this is basically the left side portion of it, where the developer is building the code and then kind of creating the Docker images out of these containers. So the next portion would be the basically the runtime security. So runtime security is basically when a container is hosted on a particular host or on a cluster or something. So how do you secure your application and container in in that environment? And apart from that, so securing the infrastructure is also an important aspect. Not just running the command, not just the containers are running in the in this host, but entire infrastructure controlling the access and everything is also part of this that comes under infrastructure security. So apart from that, you would probably also need to meet some of the compliance standards, like some of the benchmarking and other things that customers might need it. So overall, we will look at these areas as part of our container security framework. So it starts from basically doing the checks on what the developer has built and what is expected and whether it has meet those standards. Basically the designing the container itself, and then once you build the container, so you do the static checks, and then if the image is good to go, then you will push that to the registry, and you will have to see the registry is also secure and it has got only limited access. And then once it passes through this registry stage and then it is deployed somewhere, now you would have to verify the runtime behavior of this container. And once that is done, now it could be deployed elsewhere, like containers in a orchestration platform like Kubernetes or somewhere, right? So that how do you ensure that your entire infrastructure is when this particular thing is deployed, how it is complying with the existing environment and other things. So that will also be covered as part of our security framework. So we'll also see some of the compliance tests that are part of this framework. Okay, so moving on. So this is so we have basically a couple of use cases that we address from our Rapid platform. So one being implementing the container security as it goes from right from building a container until it is deployed. So that is that goes in a a pipeline. So that is one use case, and then the second use case could be like from our platform, like when it is, when we onboard some of these customers, so the customers could also specifically select one of these component, the security component, to be executed as part of their security checks. We would also, we also offer the other variant where we would enable customers to trigger any of these tests directly from the from the Rapid platform. So in this case, if you see, as I said, it comes into the various buckets. Like we first do given you're given a Docker file, you design a container file, right? So there is a something called policy validation. So what is this policy validation? Is basically, now you would set some rules on your when you design your Docker file. Say, for example, it has to meet some standards, like you cannot expose some of the commonly used ports, right? And say, for example, it cannot run as a root user. That means that you should not have statements like user root or something. So some of this policy validation is done at a first level. And then so the second thing is, so there are multiple set of tests that will validate whatever the container is bringing. Say, for example, you are adding some of the files to this guy, to Docker file, and then that Docker, let's say you're adding some entry point file or something, right? Generally, your container file will consist of an entry point, right? So if you're including some script or something into that, and then you wanted to verify a few things inside this particular file are actually validated or not, that means that you're expecting something. Let's say you're executing some shell script from a root folder, and then unfortunately this developer has written it to be executed from another folder. Then you would want it to fail that the container before even build. Before even it goes into the build stage, right? So those kinds of validation is done at a stage 2, where we verify the manifest as well as anything that is associated with the container file, like the Docker file. So that is done preliminary in the first stage. First verification stage. Now, when it passes through.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So, Sarma, these validations that you have told that we do on Docker files, so are these kind of rules which are configurable, or these are predefined? And
so there are industry standard best practices. So we have built some of these configurational policy files. So that would make sure that this Docker file goes through these things and then comes out of it. There's something is.
So are these configurable rules? Can we plus minus them?
You can tweak. Yes. Yeah, you can tweak.
And these are enforced through your platform, which is like Rapid. It reads those rules and applies them on Docker file.
Correct. Yeah, and this can be like, it depends on the the customer or the requirement. So when I say that I still need to, let's say you still wanted to expose port 80, right? We could add a deviation that this can be skipped. Even if you find that there is a port, then it can still pass through the gate that we have kept it here. Okay. So this is very important.
Is it Rago based, or does it use some other language?
So we have mixed of files. So we have YAML verification files, as well as other policy agents that we use.
Okay. Does it also use Rago?
So this is we don't directly use Rago, but this is a kind of a YAML verification.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So once it passes through this stage, now let's assume that you have built the Docker image. Now once the Docker image is built, now you wanted to run the vulnerability checks. So this is kind of the static checks. That means that you have got your image, and then you wanted to run static checks at OS level, as well as the libraries that you included in the Docker file. So those checks will be done. The static checks will be run against this image. So once it is through, the next stage would be it's like image validation and then structure test. Say for example, in case you are including some folders and some files into the into this image, and then after the image is built, now you wanted to see, before even running the container, you wanted to see whether these files are actually existing on the Docker image or not, whether these files are copied into the image or not. So these kind of checks are made at this stage. So this stage is actually for static image checks. And then what happens is, once this stage.
So Sharma, one more query regarding these security checks. Are there any preferred tools that you have to do these image scans, for example, security scans of the image?
Yeah, we use basically the open source tools, but we can connect later on how we do these checks, and then what utilities that we use, etc.
Okay. So those tools that are there open source, they're okay. You have taken those tools and you have built it into your platform.
Correct. It is integrated into our tool chain. Yeah, so once it is through this stage, now we have an automated provisioning environment. Provisioning scripts that are added to create a node, or we could use an existing node itself if you have it. So they should have a Docker environment set up. And then now what happens is, once this stage is through, now we would run this container. So when the container is starts executing now, I mean it depends. Like it can have other containers as well running along with it. So now, so there are some hardening checks that it runs on this particular environment. That is that you mimic a kind of a customer environment where you have a node and then you have a Docker container running in this environment. So you would see. So this is basically gives a different where I mean this runs various tests that would also check the hardening of your the host as well as your container checks, like if it is using anything on the root, or is it making any calls to the kernel, which is not allowed to do it. Those kind of checks are done in this checks. I mean in this stage, basically this is the runtime checks. So it is again a two-stage check. One would check the entire the host where it is running. So it will also include the containers that are running, and then anything that is happening on the kernel access or anything. So that is also verified as part of this runtime checks stage. So once it passes through all the stages, now you would push this to a Docker registry, which could be a private or a public registry. Now, so this could be a registry where nightly scans would be executed on this one automatically. So you would enable this so that even if there are any changes from the from the base image, so that the image is continuously monitored, and then you would get the feedback. You would be notified of in case if there are any other vulnerabilities. So that is the first stage of test that we run as part of our container layer. Now, once it is through, now it comes to the next level where you get into the orchestration platform. So we also have some script that would provision a Kubernetes cluster, or we could also use an existing Kubernetes cluster. So now I was mentioning about some of the benchmark tests as well as cluster automated tests. So now when you deploy your container, so it is important that it is complying to the standards. I mean, it is not just the container alone, but as a cluster entirely. So you would be able to run this test and then identify if there are any issues. So that it can be a scheduled run scan or something, because it takes a lot of time. At the same time, we also have another suite of tests that we run on this cluster, which is cluster compliance tests. So both of them bring together a series of test results that would give us overall the health of the current Kubernetes cluster, as well as if there are any deviations from what are the recommendations. So this is with respect to the the tool chain, but we also added some of the remediation steps where in terms of hardening or runtime checks, where some of these things can be corrected. So that is in pipeline as well, so that we are trying to add it to this tool chain. So any questions on this slide? Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so so this is our basically the rapid interface. So where we have multiple layers of how we actually operate. So we from the UI, as I said, like so there's an option, so somebody can upload or point a Docker file, and then a set of policy verifications are done. And the same case with the Docker image is uploaded or provided, then we would run the vulnerability checks, and then we would be taking care of the benchmark tests and other checks. Just give me a second.
Yeah.
Just give me a second. I'm getting a call.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so now let's quickly look at the demo that I have for today. I'm not getting into rapid and then showing you the demo, but let me show you something that we have from Jenkins. Okay, so let me. Are you seeing my screen? Is it?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, so let's assume that a job that is actually building a Docker image,
Okay.
and then so this basically builds a Docker image and then pulling an image from a repository and then builds the image. So that would basically trigger another job that is actually doing a set of series of tests, and then it would basically gives you a report of what all the checks that it has run, and then a report of what it has run. So let me show you probably a report of so this is let's say a sample report that is provided by this guy, which will show you the number of vulnerabilities, and then that you can check it out if the fixes are available or not, etc.
Okay.
Okay.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Sharma, you're there?
I think Sarma is not here right now.
Okay. Actually, he got a call, but not sure what has happened. Yeah, let me check. Okay, there is a power cut. He sent a message. Let me check if he will be able to come or schedule. Okay. Actually, his laptop is one Excel laptop, and that battery is drained, and there is a power cut. The power is not there. He's trying if he can connect to some other option.
Okay.
Hello. I'm sorry, we had a power cut here. So we'll start back immediately.
Yeah, can
Yeah, just a second. Let me share this quickly. Yeah, so they're saying once the job is triggered to run the test, so test will complete, and then you get a notification also that you have so many vulnerabilities that need to be fixed. So you get a HTML report that you can download, and then basically see what vulnerabilities that are existing. So other things also, you would get a basically we have a log that would show you the runtime checks that I was talking about, right? So this would say what are the tests that it has executed, and what you would see as issues, and you could see that you got a score of 12 or something. So based on this thing, you'll be able to let tune in like what would be the score that you want to achieve, and how do you fix the issues on the container if there are anything that are coming out of container, or if there are anything that are coming out of the host, then you would be able to you would need to fix that on the host. Yeah, so any questions till now? I mean, we have not got into the cluster thing, so this is till the first layer of test that I was talking about, the container security level test.
So this is the every kind of check that you talked about in the first layer, including the hardening ones, everything done till now?
Yeah, right, yes.
Okay, so this one job takes care of the entire checks of the first layer.
Yeah, so but it acts differently. I mean, like in a pipeline when we kept it and integrate with the Rapid platform. So it does step by step, but you know, it's just a single job that we have it for now for the demo.
Okay. Okay.
So it runs at a stretch.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So anything else that you wanted to know this framework, or you're looking for something?
How is it deployed in production environment?
No, this is not. They're saying this is the in a part of our Rapid platform. So how we deploy Rapid platform is a different topic altogether. So but as I said, like so this is kind of done in stages. So it could be deployed into their CI/CD pipelines. So that is what the implementation that we have in our platform as well.
And what about runtime checks?
Yeah, runtime check, actually we have an on-premise environment that is not available right now, and AWS environment we don't have all the complete setup. That's why Sharma is limited to this. To answer the first question, we have models to engage with the customer. Like I said, we have capability building and showcasing the best practices to the customer as part of the proposal and business deal, and that is for the business. That is our primary objective. For that, we showcase it from our Rabbit platform and the environment that we have. And the second part is for the customers who want to implement that solution, and we want to be part of that. Our SMEs will go and configure based on the resources that the customer has. So we will give our platform also along with our SMEs, depending on the business deals and working model, and that's the way that we work out. Okay, So both the cases, the primary platform and the source is our Rabbit, which is running on-premise, and demo environment, which is there in AWS, where we have to configure this. We have not done that yet.
Okay, understood. Is it being used by some customers as of now, or is it a new framework?
For the capability showcasing, we have been using it already, but for the customer implementation, it is kind of new. Yeah.
Right.
But if you have any customer who wants to showcase, I mean, get our thing showcased and things like that in the customer discussions, we'll be able to show our capabilities and talk on that.
Actually, our purpose is to evaluate it from a delivery standpoint to see if it can be useful for any of our customers. And as I said, we are working with some customers which might be interested in this, or rather the delivery teams itself, they might be interested in using this.
Yeah,
So,
I think you can connect with the business requirement from the delivery team or from the customer to Nitin, then we can appropriately prepare and then showcase it because we have a structure in a way to showcase to the customer and cover all our DevOps expertise. So yeah, that Nitin can help in doing that full-fledged manner.
right. Does it use band security of Docker?
Band security of Docker?
Like Docker also provides some scripts for band security, right?
No, we are not using that. Yeah, I mean, some of the things are internal like IP, but this one I don't think we are using.
Okay, okay. Yeah, the mailer was talking about the band security, that's why I was asking. All right.
Sharma, you have any idea on that?
This is Docker bench security. Are you referring to, or is it some banking security?
No, band security of Docker.
Okay, yeah, we do use it.
Use it, okay. And any underlying tools or utilities that you're using, do they have any licensing kind of a cost or something?
No, right. Actually, Sharma clarified that in the beginning. We rely on open source.
All right, team, do you have any questions for Sharma or Satya?
No, I think that was good. Good to know. Good presentation. Thank you, Sharma and Satya.
Thank you, team.
All right. Thank you very much. So we'll connect you offline for more details.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks again. Bye.
Thanks. Thank you.